Okay, latest update here on the bone stock chain and go car. As you can see, I got the water pump on there. I got the block off on there, clamped down. I even got the brackets cut off, just so I got a little bit more room. And you can also see here how putting that smaller oil filter on here, why you would do it. The normal one would be farther out here. Much likely more chance of hitting the frame when this thing starts to bend. I still got a chance of this thing getting hit if that frame rail gets shoved that far over, but if your frame rail gets that shoved that far over, you're pretty much done for anyways. Got the fender liners out, both of them, and you can kind of get an idea of this slight. It's not much of a reinforcement or a rib there. I'm going to go underneath all that, cut the hole and run the chains out through there and around the hood. So I got to cut out all the AC. A tip on, since this is, the ends of these are aluminum, you can take a cut-off wheel or something, cut through this. Like I said, I do everything with a torch, so I'll just melt the tar out of it and to pull the aluminum pieces out for all the radiator, all the AC hoses. Take all the aluminum pieces, it all adds up. Now what I'll be concentrating on, I also got the block off for the other radiator hose. I found a plug for that. Like I've said before, you can see it broken off on there. You can take these vacuum switches, you know, if you got extra ones like that, break it off, and you can use that as a plug if you have to. But what I'll be working on today is a fuel system. You can see the stock fuel filters, fuel pumps still in there. And I got this one. And this is a tip here that I'll go over with you. This one's only got input side and output side. The one that's on the car, because the car has AC, I don't know why that makes a difference, has a vent tube in it. So that's one of my tips, so you don't have to plug off this vent tube or have worries about fuel leaks. Try and find one that's just got simple in and out. A lot of times what you have to do is find since this is a 77, you'll have to find a 76, 74, or even older if they still make that motor back then. But on this one, I did some research online, since a lot of the AutoZones and O'Reilly show accurate photos of their stuff. I just looked at what one for a car that didn't have air conditioning had, and for whatever reason, I don't know why that makes a difference. The air conditioned cars have charcoal vent tube vents, and the non-AC cars don't. But there you go. You can pick that up. Then plus it's always good to make sure you have enough fuel. So there you go. You don't have to worry about blocking that vent off and the vent block off coming off and spraying fuel everywhere. Now the next tip that most guys will do is this has a steel line. It seems like it's completely out of the way, so I may risk it, but that's their tip, is never risk anything. What most guys will do, but that one's also in a bad spot. There's too many belts. What we normally do is we'll take and you get a nipple adapter to go in here. That's a compression fitting, so you just find about a, I think that's 3/8 compression. I'm not sure. Somebody else will know for sure. And you get a nipple, so you can run a 3/8 fuel line. And you get another adapter up there, or you change out the fuel filter, the one that has a nipple adapter on it, and then you run fuel line, and you run it a different way. That way you don't have to worry about that steel line getting crushed. Yes, I have actually lost a derby to an alternator. Small block Chevys run it, and the fuel pump's on this side, and that steel line runs behind the alternator. Well, when you get hit in the front really hard, the alternator goes back and crushes that line and shuts the fuel off. So that's why you don't want to run steel line. If that thing gets pinched, crushed off, or anything, then you got no fuel. And then the next step, which I'll be trying to get done because it's time, is I need to get this back seat out so I can get to it easier. But I'll show you where I'm shooting for. I need to take the fuel tank out and on the trunk, and then right up in that area is where what I'll do is I'll take the fuel tank out and then gently bend, or you don't have to bend it, you can just cut a big hole there, or if you're really worried about sheet metal cutting it, just take a short piece of pipe that's wide enough for your hose to go through and cut the hole, shove that pipe down there. That way you don't have a sharp edge. You have a nice thick pipe that doesn't have sharp edges, so you don't have to worry about your hose getting cut off. I'll do that the same thing on battery cables. Sometimes I'll run pipe through the firewall, run heater hose around the battery cable for extra protection, and then have that pipe that's welded in the firewall, so you don't have to worry about ever cutting a battery cable. But yeah, that's going to be the next step, is dropping the tank out, getting that hose up, taking the back seat out so I can start mounting, or just temporarily mounting the fuel tank, and then we can keep running this thing, because right now there's no point of just running the stock fuel tank. It's getting closer. Plus, this car is going to be a no-weld car, so I'll just bolt it. I got a bolt-in battery tank, or I'm just battery and fuel tank mount, so I'll just use the bolt-in ones on this car. Well, that's about it. I'll get the more videos shown when I get the tank out, but there you go. There's one tip on fuel pump systems, or fuel systems for your derby car.